So back here in the UK, do you think there is a lot of sympathy for refugees?
Um, Again, based on this one, I can talk with reasonably some authority. We did. I tend to and still have very good contacts with the Welsh Refugee Council.
Mm-hmm.
We did a project a number of years ago when we were looking at the employment conditions, education issues around the refugees. And I can here say with some authority here that there were some quite areas of concern in that we never really had time to get to know them. For example, I found they were very qualified academically.
Mm-hmm.
There's some doctors, people that some were qualified up to PhD, some with masters, and they had the qualifications, but because of the status that they were unable to work, they could not be able to put that into practice,
Mm-hmm.
which is, I understand that because legally they need to follow different systems. But for me, I felt that information is something that should have been captured so that we could see how we can be able to help them to translate from what they have academically to what can be acceptable within the regime in the United Kingdom. That's one area. Secondly, I find that in terms of where they tend to live, they all tend to be put in the same neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So, in terms of them being able to intermingle with people from other parts, especially the local people here, is limited because they tend just more to talk to their own people who they knew from their home countries or who they have met from new countries. And I'm talking of people like Eritreans, people from Somalia. So you tend to them, they are together. Now the plus of that system is that those communities have developed their own communities.
Yeah.
I know there's a very good strong Sudan community in South Wales, which I know about. I know Eritrea have a very strong organization also, and other countries. So that has also helped those communities work together, get to know and support each other, so that when new people, immigrants come in, they are able to be settled perhaps quicker than they would have taken to settle because their own people are doing it. And in terms of that, I can also bring people like Eastern Europeans. When Eastern European people started coming into these countries, in the project that we did, in collaboration with a number of organizations, we had 30 organizations that we were working with. I was the chair of the partnership. We found out that it would have been easier if those people that came in were able to, as quickly as in the shortest time possible, for them to know what is the regulation in the UK in terms of driving, in terms of seeing a doctor. So we developed a welcome pack. So that welcome pack consists of the information that most people need to know when they come to the UK. That was translated into the languages that they could understand. And that is something that has helped people assimilate very quickly into them. And this is not a situation for us. I know I've read papers in New Zealand and talking about the problems of immigration. And they really recommend having a welcome pack. What I also know is that this is an idea that we took to the Abu Dhabi police because when we did some work with one of the former PhD students, we found because of this large number of people from other countries coming, it takes them time to be able to know what the legislation with regard to traffic is.
Yeah.
So we suggested, from our experience in UK, that a welcome pack would help, particularly the people that are coming, to quickly know what do I need to do so that I don't necessarily fall foul of the registration.
And another question is, do you think there is any opposition in the UK towards the housing of refugees here?
I think, as I told you, most of them tend to be housed in the same neighborhood. I am not privy to the reasons around that. But you can see that there are some areas. I know in places like Canton, for example, you can hear that people say, don't go to that area because that area is full of X group of people. Don't go to that area because that area is group of Y people. Now, my issues with that is, whereas we have allowed these people to come in, I think it would be good for, first of all, for them to be able to know what we require of them in this country, but it's also good for us to be able to know how we can be able to make these people more welcome, and the word I've used, to help them assimilate. Because if they go to school, they are probably going to the same schools that our children are going to. So how are our children going to respond to meeting children from another country? And likewise, children from overseas, how are they going to respond? So I think it is important for us to try and encourage the bonding of people that are coming from other countries, because as long as they're here legally, as long as the government is aware they are here legally, then I think it is our responsibility to make sure that we integrate them as quickly as possible into the system. Because I have worked and done a significant amount of work with these people, there is a lot that we can learn from them in terms of simple thing as how they can be able to support. For an example, if we want to address a public health message, it is okay for me or Henry, for example, to go and address a public health message to them. But because they not necessarily don't know who we are, if that message, we can be able to look from this group, people that we can train so that they can also be able to be with us as we disseminate this method, I believe we can be able to reach more people. And because they trust these leaders from their own group, I believe the message would be heard more and obeyed, perhaps, if it was just people from the Western world who are conveying the message. So I think if we want, I'm talking of where I think the area of public health issues, if we want areas of prevention, areas of control, I think having these people integrated would be able to help us spread that message quickly.
Excellent. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you.